Hello and welcome back. MC1 Gamer here, bringing you a response video to one that was put out into the community. This one by Vince Ventrello. He does a weekly topic of the week, and a lot of the YouTuber community that are involved in wargaming respond to it. And it's a nice dialogue. It brings out a number of different topics, a variety, just a whole spectrum of different topics. And this week is, how do you bring in new blood into your hobby? I think we're not just talking about, for instance, Age of Sigmar, Warhammer, but we're talking about any games. I mean, I play a variety of different games. I play Bolt Action. I'm taking a look at Conflict 47. I'm looking at the Firelock games, which is Blood and Plunder, I think it's called, the pirate game that's coming out. I'm playing Marvel Miniature Game. I play, just a tremendous number of games. Frostgrave. But I do play, of course, a lot of Age of Sigmar. And I've looked at, a variety of different other games to jump into, but there's only so many things you can put on the table. So you really, just like anything else, you have to be very focused and passionate about what game you're interested in. But if you don't have a community in your area, or if you have a community but you want to grow it, you want to try and incorporate something new, or if there's a new game that you're just like with the growing the community for, it's a new game and you want to try and promote it, and there's a lot of ways you can do that. One of the best ways is to partner up with with your flags, your friendly local game stores. These stores, they're always looking for people to help and volunteer. Sometimes they might even throw you some discounts if you purchase stuff there because you're bringing them business. But don't count on that. These guys are looking to make a buck. They're looking to sometimes just to get by. It's tough business in a lot of respects, but if you're really interested, you're going to get something out of this, and that is a growth of the community, and you'll meet other players certainly, and you may actually help that store out in a lot of ways. Which there's nothing worse than having your regular gaming spot suddenly closed down. I mean, I've seen that happen a couple of times. I'm lucky that I live in an area where there's a lot of different stores within reasonable commuting distance, and if I want to travel a little further, it opens up a whole lot more. But that doesn't mean that everybody has that luxury, and certainly that doesn't mean that every game I'm interested in is the kind of game that people are playing. When Age of Sigmar first came out, a lot of the old players from 8th edition. A lot of them left. I mean, some stayed, some of them converted over, and a whole bunch of new people came on board. A lot of that was from my effort at some of these stores to kind of just sit down, put up a table, and do demos, and then run some events, run some escalations. I'm running an escalation at a new store right now with Age of Sigmar because of this big resurgence after the General's Handbook came out. A lot of people have returned. So it's a way to bring those people back into the fold. I planted myself at a couple of different stores and just said, hey, I'll play any game with whoever's available. And new people that left for a while have returned. But then again, there were plenty of people that were available for me to play. I played more games than I can say with Age of Sigmar throughout since its launch over a year ago. And I'm still amazed at how many games I've actually played. And most of it has just been, meeting people at these stores, meeting new people and bringing them into the hobby by showing them how to play the game, having 2 armies set up with terrain, and then walk out with a starter box, with a get started box, with some of these great value deals that have come out over the course of the past year. And and I still play them. I still meet them. And certainly there's plenty of people, again, that have returned to the fold. But then there's other games. For example, Bolt Action just started a resurge in the past year as well in one particular store, and I participated with those guys. They're not really that interested necessarily in Conflict 47, which is more of a Weird War updated World War II. What would have happened if new technologies, 5 years after World War II came out, and other strange things happened. So you have German zombies and Tesla cannons on Sherman tanks and whatever. It's really interesting. It's a new way to play these types of historical games, just to take it in a different direction. Get just some fresh look at the same mechanics, because Bolt Action is a great game with a great mechanic. So not many people are interested. Well, what is my tactic going to be? I'm going to go and get it. I'm going to paint it up. I'm going to bring it down, and I'm just going to show these guys. And maybe a couple of them might be interested, and that's how you do it. Same thing with Marvel Miniature Game. A lot of people got burnt a little bit by the Batman game. Night Models is the company that makes it. They're a Spanish company. Distribution to the U.S. has been pretty challenging. Even the distributors that have it tend to dry up pretty quickly. Well, it's a little bit difficult, and it's a new type of game, and it's a really interesting game. It's a superhero-oriented game. I didn't get into the Batman game. I didn't like the mechanics too much, but I took a dive into Marvel, and I bought three starter sets and a whole bunch of the expansions. And now I have a whole bunch of figures. My son has flipped out about it too. He loves it because he's a big comic book fan. But I'm building up cardboard, color printer cardstock terrain for some nice city structures. I'm using a city map that I used for Bolt Action, even for Age of Sigmar. I'm going to make a little town scene and have, battle it out with the Avengers versus the X-Men versus the Guardians of the Galaxy versus the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I mean, it's cool stuff. Not everybody plays this stuff, but plenty of these stores are also comic book stores, or they're affiliated with comic book stores. I know one local owner, his shop is this kind of the sister shop to another shop, which is focused just on comic books and collectibles. They tried to do gaming there, but it was too much of a conflict. So now he has one store that's completely dedicated to gaming and one store that's completely comic books. Well, there's some of the similar customers between those two stores. You don't think some of these people are going to be interested in taking a look at this, just like they were interested in HeroClix? Maybe they're looking for something that's a little bit more of a war game rather than just a regular tabletop game. HeroClix has got a huge following, and I played that and loved it myself, my son included. But this is something that, it speaks to me a little bit more. I have a passion for it. I'm going to give it a try, and I'll probably convert a few people. So long and the short of it is if you're interested in it, talk to your local game store, see if they have the product, see if they are looking to order the product. See if they don't really have a following, maybe you should go ahead and see if you can talk to them and just offer to sit down and have a demo day. They can post it up on Facebook or YouTube or put signs up and just talk to people about it. People come in, spend a few hours just demoing a few games, make it short, make it concise, talk about the rules, have some nice painted figures. That's the best way to do that too. But make it easy and make it simple. Don't make it convoluted. Just go through the basics to get the mechanics down. You don't want big games. You want a fast thing you can do anywhere from 20 minutes to half an hour. And you can do several of them, so you can include multiple people involved in this stuff. I've had it where I've had 8 or 10 people crowd around a table just watching that stuff, asking if they could I be next? So these are the types of things that you can do. Set aside a couple hours on a weekend or 1 weeknight when you have open gaming. There's a couple of different stores that I know that have open gaming. They just have bring whatever you have to the table. It's tabletop night. That way, they have segmented times that don't compete with, say, some of the the competitive card games like Magic and Pokemon and stuff like that. That way, they can segment out so that people aren't competing with a lot of the other, what tends to be some of their real money making ventures. But you go and you work it out with the store manager, and they're going to generate business from little effort of their own, and you'll meet some people and hopefully grow the community for a game that you enjoy. And then other ways to do it is really what you're seeing right now. I'm not making any money on getting any real freebies or anything like that. There's putting out videos on YouTube and running these events. There's very little kickback or reward for any of this stuff. It's a lot more work than it's worth in that regard. So you have to have a passion. You have to have an interest. I like this hobby. I enjoy it. I like talking and speaking to other people who have like interests. This is a way to communicate with people over long distances that I may never actually meet, but we have a connection and a common interest, and we have a dialogue that we could have together. I've met people that if I ever go overseas, I'm certainly going to be concerned about whether or not I need to bring one of my armies in an air travel safe case so that I can meet up with some of these guys and get a game in, because there's some really cool people that I've gotten to know overseas that are not in the U.S. And that's something that that is also a great way to communicate. Even if you're just a lurker, even if you're just a poster on other people's content pages, if you're just on Facebook, if you're just on forums, various different forums for these various games. Doing that kind of stuff is certainly not going to be. It's certainly going to help you grow the community when you try to organize events, or you try to promote the events, or you try to talk about different events. If you want to help grow the community, you see that there's a local event and you want to participate in it, talk about it, post about it. You don't have to be necessarily a content creator like this on YouTube, or even a person that runs events. You could be the person that just increases the bandwidth, that increases the volume, that extends that reach. Tell people about it. Hey, if you happen to be in this area, I know a local event that's maybe nearly sold out, or there's some seats available, and this has been pretty cool. I've had a good time with it before. Why don't you, if you happen to be in this area on this date, try it out. It could be as simple as that. So those are the ways that you can give back to the community, but you can also help grow it, help sustain it. And the lifeblood of the community is the community. Okay, because this is a very niche hobby. It's not as widespread as a lot of other hobbies. You've seen in recent years the explosion of like RPG gaming because of mediums like this. But a lot of these things are taking a life of their own in a way that no one ever expected, or it took a long time to get there. Who knows where these types of war games, tabletop war gaming, where it might go? Who knows what the future may hold? But the only way that it's going to continue, if you really enjoy doing this, is if you do your part, and it could be as simple as just spreading the word. So go ahead and do that. And if you're inclined to go and help out the local store, you're probably also helping somebody keep the lights on. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day, everybody.